it's Mari. You're watching the Bittersweet Betty podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, and I'm so glad you could join me today. If you're coming back, welcome back. If you are new, thanks for taking a minute to check me out. So this is just a little show to talk about kind of what I've been working on, talk about my life, whatever. This week you might notice something. I'm a little bit light on some hair this week. I actually wanted to film this about a week ago when I got it all cut, because one of my favorite things in the world is getting my hair cut, especially when it's like long and then I get cut really short again. And when I told my husband that I really wanted to get my hair cut short, when I told him I wanted to get my hair cut, I was going to cut all my hair off. He's like, "What hair?" I was like, because my hair before this, if you go back a couple episodes, you would have seen me doing a lot of this, like pushing it out of the way. My hair was probably about down to here, still shaved on the sides, but for me that was really long. I've had short hair since about 2012, and I remember going in 2012 to my stylist and being like, "You have to get this off my head before, I just can't anymore. I can't." So, I got it cut and I've never really gone back, and it just keeps getting shorter and shorter and a little bit more radical. And I know this isn't everyone's cup of tea hair-wise. My dad's probably watching right now shaking his head because he does not care for this haircut, I don't think. But it makes me feel like a badass. So this time around, I'll be really honest, and I'm going to say this because I think it's good to help normalize this type of stuff. My mental health has not been the greatest for the last couple of months, and I just realized after a while, I just needed to take something off my plate. That might sound so silly, and I told someone about that and they were like, "But it's just hair." And I was like, "It is, but it makes a difference in terms of getting ready in the morning and being ready to go out and take on another day." And I just really wanted to go back to not having to worry about my hair and have it be something that just can look awesome the way it is with very minimal fuss. Cause that's kind of who I am. I'm not really girly girl. I don't really enjoy doing my hair. So this was a really enormous improvement for me. It's really short in the back, and it, it's still got some height to it. So it can be styled. It's wonderful because it's just being styled without styling. So the other thing I will say about this, just because again it's having a short haircut when you are a fat woman, I know a lot of times people always tell fat women not to cut their hair short because it doesn't really it's not flattering, I think is the word most people would use if they were against it. And I mean, first and foremost, fuck flattering. The thing I always tell I go to a barber now, and a couple of times he's asked me what my husband thinks of it, and I've just said it doesn't really matter what my husband thinks of it because it's my hair, but ultimately my husband is supportive, so that does help. I will not undercut the fact that if you have a partner that would not be supportive and it would be an uphill fight for you, it might be a difficult fashion choice to make. I get that 100%. But that being said, I remember when I first got all my hair cut off 7 years ago, and I walked out, and this really cute, skinny college girl was like, "It looks so good. With my round face, I could never do that." And I think I just stared at her and was like, I don't know what to tell you. If this can manage it, everybody can manage it. So ultimately, I obviously recognize it's a matter of preference and everything, but I prefer not to have hair touching me, and so this was the way to go. But ultimately, I just wanted to say, one, if you are struggling with mental health stuff and you have something that seems really silly, but you just have this gut feeling that it's going to help you, respect that gut feeling and go for it, because I can't tell you how much better I felt in just a week of having less hair. I know it seems silly, but it's true. It has really been a big boost to my moods and things, so I'm really grateful for that. And two, if you are a fat person and are interested in doing something that you feel like is really daring or people might look down on, just remember, one, it's hair. It always grows back. It might take a while, but it does grow back. 2, 3, whatever number I'm on. Just do it. You can pull it off. it's just a matter of having confidence for it. And if it's something that you've thought about long and hard enough that you really, really want to do it, like, I'm not saying go out and get it cut just because you were like, oh, that girl's got a cool haircut or whatever. But, you know, if it's something that just like really speaks to you, like, don't worry about it. Just do you. Like, you do you. It will work out, I promise. And if you do you and it looks like this, I definitely recommend going to a barber, because no joke, it took me 7 years to get to the haircut that I wanted. Now, I wouldn't say that this is the haircut I wanted when I first cut all my hair off, but it took me a good 2 or 3 years to finally communicate with my barber, like, no, I basically want a men's cut. Like, stop trying to make it feminine. I want a disconnected undercut with some height and a pompadour and all of that. It really just took a long time, and just keep going back and saying, like, shorter, cut it shorter, cut it shorter. You know, now he knows, like, and now he trusts me. And I 100% get it. Most hairstylists are probably like going to be leery about cutting someone's hair really short, but you know, if that's what you're after, stand up for yourself and just go for it. Tell them to do what you want them to do. And if they don't, go find someone else, or keep going back and keep advocating for yourself. That was a really intensive conversation about hair, but obviously, considering that it touched on mental health and self-confidence and personal positivity, obviously I have strong feelings about it. So yes, and I really wanted to do it when it was super short, because this is grown in. I know, like, I don't know if you can tell from camera. I guess it probably would just look like I had cut down to the skin if I'd done it about a week ago. And I couldn't do it a week ago because I got really manic and, like, I want to say ranty, but I mean, like, positive ranty. Like, I would have been like, blah, and that might have been a little too much. Like, this conversation plus that, maybe not for the best. So, yeah, I love it. It's like my favorite haircut I've ever had. And again, my husband's really supportive. It does help that my husband grew up in a punk band and, you know, saw girls with Chelsea haircuts and like weird stuff like that even I wouldn't go for, and, you know, just doesn't have a problem with it. So I appreciate that to no end. If you're watching, David, so thank you. So yeah, what else has been going on? Just the same old for the most part. I'm participating in FiberShare, and for those of you that don't know what FiberShare is, it is an international swap that is organized, I think maybe quarterly. I did it this time last year, and basically you pay like a relatively minimal fee, like maybe $7 to sign up, and the organizers match you with people kind of based on, you know, your level of introvertedness. You know, if you want to talk to people, you know, so if you just want to swap with somebody and they're like, no, I want to talk to you nonstop, I think they kind of try to match you with people that you're gonna be at the same level with. The only requirement, I think, is that you have to exchange 200 grams of fiber. And so if you're like a spinner or a weaver, I think that you can indicate that, and you just have to exchange whatever the required amount of fiber is. But usually people put other things in there, like little goodies or notions. So I've been shopping for that, which is always really fun. I do tend to do a little bit of stash shopping, just because sometimes I know if there's something that, if I don't love it, but it's awesome, like, and I want to share that with somebody, I will totally stash dive for it. But the other thing I've tried to do this time has been get source from local dyers. So I've picked up a couple things from my local yarn shop, and something that I had my stash from another local dyer that I think my partner will really enjoy. I don't know if she's watching this or not. If you are, I may do like a video before I send it. I won't show it before I send it, but I was thinking maybe I just do a little video kind of showing like what my package looks like, just for fun, just, you know, and then hopefully when I get mine, do it similar like what I got. Which is because it's fun. It's fun to, you know, talk about like what I'm sending to my partner, based on, you know, kind of what I know about her and having had conversations for the last couple of weeks. I'm really excited to see what I get, because my partner and you get two partners. So you get one person that you send to, and then one person who sends to you. So it's not a back and forth swap. It's a sort of a round robin, I guess. Is that what it is? I think that's what it's called. So that's kind of neat. But so the person that's sending to me is a yarn dyer, and she's kind of getting started, but she's got sort of, I think her yarn name, I'll put it up here if I can remember. I think it's Nerdy Bird or Nerd Birdery Yarns. I think it's Nerdy Bird, but like with a K in front of it. But her colorways all look really awesome, so I'm excited to see. I'm hoping she'll send me some of hers, and I'll get to see kind of what she has thought of dyeing for me. So that's really exciting. And let's see what else is going on. So this is the time when everyone is like gearing up to go to festivals and stuff. And last year, I was really lucky. My husband was very kind and went with me to Maryland to go to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. And that was the first time I'd ever been. We went and stayed in Baltimore. We had like a nightmare well, it wasn't a nightmare. We had an Airbnb mishap, so we ended up having to get a hotel like super last minute. And my husband hadn't really been to Baltimore before, so he wanted to kind of explore, but my main focus was being there for the yarn festival. So we went into that, and I bought a bunch of yarn and really enjoyed it. And I would love to go back this year, but I've realized that probably I just need to give up that dream for this year. And you know how that goes. Some years you go and some years you don't. You know, it's not like, usually I'm not a diehard, have to go every single year, but I got accepted into a show. One of my other crafts that I haven't really shown on here yet is that I make felt flower arrangements. And so I had a show that I was supposed to do back in December, and it's with the same organizers, so like they've like let me in every time I've applied, because I think there's not really many other people that do what I do. And the show got postponed due to weather, and then my mother-in-law passed away, and so just I had to bow out of it. Just timing wasn't good. So everything that I had prepared for that show I still have, so I figured I would apply for their May show in order to kind of, you know, try and get rid of most of my stock. And so I got into that, and that's the same weekend as Maryland Sheep and Wool, so I figured probably the adult financial smart decision was to go to a show that I might make money at rather than go to a show that I'm gonna lose my shirt at if I am not careful. So I'm a little bummed about that, but I'm looking forward to going to the Carolina Fiber Fest, which is here in Raleigh toward the end of March. That's usually you know, we live right outside of Raleigh, so it's just a quick drive in for me, and I can usually do that in a day. If anyone is in the Raleigh area or is planning to go to that and is interested in just meeting up or saying hi, I don't know that that's very many people, but yeah, just comment or message me on Instagram. I'd love to meet people. I have no idea yet what day I'm going, but I'm pretty flexible, so if it's something where someone's got a specific thing in mind, just let me know. But yeah, so there's just all this other stuff, and I think the unfortunate thing is this year I've realized like I have a really good stash now, so I don't really need to buy much more yarn. Much more, you'll notice I said. And last year when Rhinebeck came around and I was watching everyone's videos, I was like, I really want to go to Rhinebeck. I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to Rhinebeck this year. And I thought I almost went to the almost to the point of like reserving an Airbnb or something, but would have had to move some things around for work, and ultimately that didn't end up happening. But I think before then, even I was kind of like, well, I kind of like the fervor of it died down a little bit. So I think I won't be doing too many fiber festivals. I may still go to SAF out in Asheville at the end of the year in October. That one always falls on my anniversary weekend, so it sucks because I either have to be like, bye, I'm leaving you, to my husband, or who doesn't really care usually because he doesn't mind having a weekend to himself, but or he has to go with me, and you know, there's only so much yarn shopping one husband might be willing to do in a year. So yeah, I'll just kind of make do with going to the fiber festival, but I have been kind of keeping my eyes out. What I'd really love is if someone local to me would kind of organize one of those retreats where it's just like let's go rent a cabin somewhere and just everybody that wants to can like chip in and hang out for the weekend, and all we do is just like drink wine and knit and do stuff like that. And obviously I could organize something like that myself, but I don't know that I'm there yet. So If anyone is aware of knitting retreats that are like that in the Raleigh or North Carolina area, please feel free to message me. I will be happy to give you my money. So, yeah, that's kind of the gist of what's been going on in life. And, yeah, not too much. This is like the hibernating part of the year. Like, I feel like all I do is like watch TV and knit and hang out with my husband, and we finally had downtime. And then once it gets to like March, then everything kicks into high gear with work and stuff like that. So they'll be traveling and other things going on. But yeah, so I'm just trying to take advantage of this time to relax as much as possible. Okay, so you came here for knitting and probably were like, I don't know why this girl was talking about her hair for like 10 minutes. So if you're still here and are here for knitting, this is the time. So I have 2 finished objects to show you today, and no whips, because one of the finished objects I thought was going to be a whip, but I finished it. And that whip or finished object has consumed my life for the last week or two. So first and foremost is the cowl that I've been knitting for my mom. And if you've tuned into a couple of the past episodes, you've heard sort of the saga of the black cowl that I've been dreading knitting. But so I finished it. It's been done for about a week, but I wanted to podcast it before I sent it to my mom, who's probably sitting there going, I would really like to have that now. So Mom, I'm hoping to send this out to you sometime this weekend. And when I say this weekend, what I mean is like, I film these and then sometimes it takes me like a week to get them edited and up. So my mom might have this by the time. Who knows? We'll see. So this is the cowl that I knit for my mom, and it's kind of a bib. So, okay. So I'm not really sure how to, I'm trying to think how best to show this. So it turned out enormous and very circular. Okay. So again, this was my own design. It was sort of loosely based on a circular, like a circular hat or a half circular shawl that you eventually turn into a cowl. I don't know what happened. It was just one of those things, you know, when you're knitting something and it's like really bunched up on the needles and you're like, it doesn't look very big. So you just keep going. And then you're like, oh, it was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. So, and again, apologize. I'm filming at night, so my lighting's not the best and it's black. So there's pretty much everything working against it. So I don't think you can tell much of the pattern, but, it's enormous. So Mom, I guess you can really wear it like this. Think of it more like this, which is not what you wanted in terms of the cowl, but if you want to be warm in the boobage area, then I think you should be warm. So basically it's a circular, circular shawl that once it gets long enough going around to go over your head, then you just kind of connect it and then you start working in the round. I basically think I did too many increases. I think if I'd done less increases, it wouldn't be quite so circular. It would be drawn in a little bit. So there's nothing wrong with it, but one, it's very long. Again, I know you kind of can't even see it, but and I think when I blocked it, maybe I blocked it a little too aggressively. Like maybe I should rewash it. Mom, if you see this and are like, yeah, rewash it. Or you can rewash it, Mom. The other thing that I thought about doing is taking like, okay, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. So when worn as a bib, this is like how much it goes down in the back, right? So the actual back part is not very long. So that's all it is in the back. And you can kind of see the pattern. So there's like a lot of, oh, there you go. There you go. You can see the pattern. Look at that. Who knew that would be a good idea? So, yeah, like I used basically eyelets to sort of do all the increases and may have done a little too much eyeletting. Too much eyeletting. So one thing I've thought about doing, and again, Mom, this is basically me communicating with you. So if you watch this and want me to do it, just message me. One thing I've thought about doing has been like to put a button like right here, because there's eyelets along the edges where you could basically just like almost button it up to make the neck hole thinner. So like if she wanted to be able to wear it a little bit more scrunched up like this, and then had kind of, you know, done this in the back with a button, that would kind of help to bring it up if she wanted to wear it up more. Or you can just kind of scrunch it up and do whatever. So I don't have any plans to publish this pattern because either I would need to really work on it so I felt like it actually looked like a cowl instead of a bib, or yeah, I'm not sure what I would have to do. So my mom likes black and wears a lot of black, so she might love this. I have no idea. This one's not exactly my cup of tea, but that doesn't mean it won't be hers. So another way, Mom, you could wear it, something like that. So just a way to tone down your, maybe I'll stand up and see if you can see it that way. Yeah. So sorry, I'm kind of in my pajamas. You did not get showered version of me, but I am wearing a bra, so there's that. So yeah, just to like give you kind of an idea of what it could look like or scale of it. I don't know. If this was mine, it would be a little too big for me, but it's not mine, so hopefully my mom likes it. Oh goodness. Okay. So I guess wearing neck things is not really the best way because you can only see from here up. But anyways, so yeah, so that's the cowl I knit for my mom. It's all finished. And yeah, I don't have a lot else to say about it. If you've watched before, it was knit out of Wool in the Gang. It's in there something space colorway, and it's like a merino, maybe mohair mix. It's very fuzzy. Like I'm wearing chapstick again. I have fuzz all over my face. So beware if you wear chapstick while putting this over your head. Yeah, so this will head out to my mom. My dad's birthday is actually this weekend. So I gotta send him a birthday card and everything, and so probably I'll just send them a little package together. So hopefully she will like it. I am not sad to be done knitting the black cowl, but I'm glad that it's something that hopefully she will like and get some use out of. That's me. Like, I like making things for people, but I really want them to be fuzz. So much fuzz. I have so much fuzz on my face right now. I love making things for people, but I want them to either be useful or something that people are just like blown away. Like, I love it. I just have to, you know, I love it so much or whatever. Which I think my mom and dad like when I make them stuff, but I don't know if it's always super practical for them. But it is much colder in Michigan, generally speaking, except for global warming, than it is down here in North Carolina. So at least there's still some time to wear stuff, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So that was my nameless cowl that I knit. And then the other thing that I've been working on is my Birds of a Feather shawl, which I don't think you guys have seen at all. I don't think I showed it during my like 2018 Make 9. So this is a shawl that I started knitting back in September, and I got the yarn right after I bought this dress to wear to a wedding, and I was like, this yarn is perfect. It like goes perfectly. The dress is like, it looks like twilight, so it has like stars all over it, and then it goes from like a dark blue to sort of a purple to a like pink. And so I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm gonna make this beautiful Birds of a Feather shawl to wear with it. Except the thing is, in North Carolina, an outdoor wedding in September is still very likely to be like 98 degrees. So I'm not quite sure what I was thinking. But needless to say, I did not come close to finishing it. And so it had to go in timeout for a while, which I'll explain in a minute. Which was fine because it truly was about 98 degrees. Although once we went inside for dinner, I probably could have worn it because we basically picked a seat that was directly over an air vent. And while it felt wonderful after being outside, about 2 hours later, I was freezing to death. So, this is my Birds of a Feather. And the other thing I was going to tell you guys is that, so, the reason I actually got back to this is because There's a hashtag on Instagram, finish it February. And I think I just saw it and was like, oh, that's smart. I should do that. Like, finish it February. I'm gonna do that. And so, sorry, fuzz. Attack of the fuzz. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's good. I'm going to knock out all these things that I have not really been enjoying working on, just so they'll be done. And then they're going to be finished. And then I can not feel bad about anything I knew I want to start. So this is where we have to talk about my overestimation, either of myself or my knitting speed or something. Because my original plan was not just to finish this, but also to finish my Lily Pilly shawl, which I'm going to show this to you. It has progressed slightly since I think the last time I showed it to you, but probably like, can you see where the stitch marker is? Like this much. So this is how long this shawl is right now. So this is part 1 of that shawl. And then if you look at the pattern, I'll show you the part with the actual pattern on it. So if you look at the pattern, so this is this part. Like, this is all I have knit so far. So I would have had to knit all this lace section. The stripe section is what was taking me freaking forever. And this is like X amount of rows, and this is 2X amount of rows, and then more lace. So considering they were taking me forever, I'm not really sure why I thought I was gonna finish one shawl and then that one, and then on top of it I have like 2 hats that I was like, oh, I'm gonna knock these out too. And the hats probably were a little bit more potentially likely to happen, but like this one is meant to be a big slouchy one, and it's knit in linen stitch, so it's like I'm knitting it on size 9 and it looks like it's being knit on size 3s. So this is a colorway. I don't know why I'm showing, I guess this is the whip section, the inactive whips, but this was my real hope, was that I was gonna like get this done, and then that didn't happen at all. So I think I did truly like 2 more rows after that, but so it's just around and around and around, and it's just kind of mind-numbing. So I really want it to be done. And the colorway, if you're interested, is a Bumblebee Acres. I have 2 hats in here, so they're kind of not playing well together. So if you can kind of see it. So this is one I got at Maryland Sheep and Wool last year. And Bumblebee Acres Fiber Farm. And it is Space-Time Continuum. I don't know if it'll... on their bubble sock, which is 80% merino, 20% silk. Fingering weight. So I'm a Doctor Who fan, so when I saw that I was like, yes, that one's it, because sometimes with Doctor Who things I'm like, that doesn't speak to my Doctor Who fandom, and so it has to kind of be something that I'm like, yeah, I'm into that. So okay, so now you've seen what I thought I was gonna get done. There's another hat in there, but really it kind of needs to be frogged because I was again doing a choose your own adventure self-made pattern. It wasn't working out. So that one is, yeah, that one's just on timeout. So, okay. Let's see. So this is an enormous shawl. Like, there's no chance I'm going to be able to, like, fit it all in the frame. There's the other tail that you can't see. Okay, so can you see that stitch marker? That's where I was before I started Finish It February. I don't know if you can actually see it. It's my little Eeyore one. Eeyore's my buddy because I'm kind of an Eeyore in real life. So if you haven't seen Birds of a Feather, if I remember, I'll try and put a picture up. It's a pattern by Andrea Mowry. So this is one of those shawls that you knit it, you start out and it starts with a very skinny tail and it kind of goes like this. And it's knit with alternating rows of like garter and, you know, a single and then a mohair, and then you do like a lace section and then a mohair and then a garter, and you kind of alternate those. I'm gonna take a deep breath because I'm getting hyperventilating. I think that's maybe not really a word. Okay. So you start here at this tail, and when I started it, I was using a size 6 needle, I think. I think it calls for like a 5. And I went up 1, or maybe I didn't go up at all. But I was knitting it and I was like, this is really tight. Like, and I didn't feel like I was using any yarn. Like, cause it calls for 2 skeins of like a fingering single and then 1 50-gram skein of mohair. And I mean, granted, these are small sections, so it's not like there's much yarn to be used up, but like I got to, I don't know, maybe like here using those 6s, maybe not quite there. And was just like, I don't think this looks like it's gonna be tiny. And, you know, when people would show it, it'd be like this enormous, I think it has like a 90 or 100-inch wingspan. Ha, bird puns. And so I switched at that point to a 7, and I was just like, oh, well, I'm not going to start over. I'm just going to go from there. So, and even then I kind of was like, I feel like this is not going to be very big. I couldn't quite figure out how people were getting it to be so large. So when you're doing the increases, so you're increasing and also doing like a center decrease. And once you get to whatever the width is, then you basically, the decrease lines start shifting. Like you get more stitches over here, and this becomes like a straight line, and so you start going like this. Did you enjoy that technical explanation? Let me see if I can find the right side to show you what's going on here. So, okay. So if you can kind of see that center, so it starts doing that V. So it starts with the V, and then like this is the point you can kind of see there. On the other side, it's just straight. This is the part where I kind of started shifting where the center decreases were going. So then it becomes, you can see that like this part to the center where the point is getting smaller, like here and here and here. And so this is actually the cast off edge. And I actually was not sure I was going to have enough mohair, so I actually did some fewer of these single rows of mohair. But so this is basically the cast off edge. So I still plan to wear this with the dress I got it to go with. I literally just finished it this afternoon because it's February 28th. So hashtag finish it February. Did it. Nailed it. And it's kind of enormous. Like, it's enormous in almost a different way than like a lot of the asymmetrical shawls are. It's very drapey, which I like. So, and I think it's meant to be worn almost, I'm curious to see what like I haven't blocked it yet. So if I had worn it with a dress, you know, you'd be wearing it kind of like this. That works, you know, for me. Being a bit wider, I kind of am skeptical when someone's like, oh, I wore it as a wrap or whatever, but I think this could be doable with a sleeveless dress. This would be good for like a summer wedding somewhere other than North Carolina, maybe a fall wedding. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. Like, it's a nice addition. Again, I've talked about before how I'm sort of using shawls as an opportunity to bulk up my accessory wardrobe. Even again, but it's such a bummer because I can't only wear them for so long each year. I'm never gonna, this is the right side, I think. But so I'm not entirely sure how many times is that a good look to, like, if I'm gonna wear it like this. I do like my stuff to be a little bit more not baggy, but like fluffy. Nope, that's not the word I'm looking for. So tails. So again, this is just a different shape, and it's kind of interesting. It's going to take me a minute probably to like figure out how best to wear it, but this is nice. Like, I like it. I like that it's I'm sure it's going to be very warm because it's got this mohair, these mohair sections. So these are very fuzzy. They are a little, like, I'm not the biggest fan of having mohair on my neck, but I think with this, with it being like a little looser, I think it will be warm without having any of that skin sensitivity issue. And I like the way it looks, and I do wear a good amount of purple, and I didn't have anything that was sort of almost a monotone. I also really love the colorways of this, and I'll tell you what they are in just a second, but I really like that this is kind of a warm purple. And then, you know, to sort of have, like, I tend more toward burgundies and warm purples like this. But I think it's a really nice contrast to sort of have this. And then both of them kind of go light and darker. So it's just, like, I think they both really pair well together. Like, if you can see up close, you can see how much variation there is just in both of them. I think that's reading pretty well. You know, so one's more red and one's more blue, but I think they really pick off each other really well. So let me find my ball bands and then I'll tell you. So the mohair is a hedgehog fibers mohair, and like this is what I have left. I probably could have done a couple more. I might have been able to finish it, but I didn't really want to find out in the middle. And then this is how much I have left of the second skein of, this is a Madeline Tosh colorway. Let me find it. This is Tosh Marina Light in the Lepidoptera colorway. Lepidoptera. Lepidoptera. It's like I'm in a spelling bee every time I show you things. So Madeline Tosh, it's her single. It's just 100% merino wool. Yeah, this is warm. Like the back of my neck is very warm right now, but not like making me sweaty, just like, oh, it's warm, it's nice. And the Hedgehog Fiberway Hedgehog Kid Silk Lace is in the colorway Spell. And I got both of these in Black Mountain Yarn Shop, which is awesome. And I really like stopping there when we've gone to Staff or anytime we go to Asheville. Like, now that I've been in there a couple times, I think my husband knows that we were gonna just stop there. And we went when we actually drove. We were about an hour and a half away on vacation with his family, and I was like, let's go to Asheville for the day and make a stop at Black Mountain. So he was very kind to take a little detour with me. So yeah, that's my Birds of a Feather shawl. I'm happy it's done. Like, I'm happy it's done. I'm happy there's one less shawl that I'm kind of just like about. And I'm glad that I like it. I think it will get worn some before the end of the cold season. I like this shape. I wasn't sure I was going to. Like, I have looked at other things that are this shape and been like, because I didn't really enjoy knitting it a ton. Like, maybe that would be different. I do think a big part of it was knitting with mohair is not my favorite because it's so like ephemeral almost. Like, every time I would get done with the mohair section, I'd be like, I think I would just power through them in order to get to the next section of like merino singles. So now I'm interested in maybe looking at some other patterns. Like, I know some of the fade patterns, the like Find Your Fade shawls, I think are similar to this, and a lot of Amba O'Brien's patterns are similar to that. So I may give those a look now that I understand. And I think there's something about the way they're constructed that until you do it, it doesn't make sense how it gets to be that final size, because, you know, when you're doing this for a while and then it's like this long and then suddenly you're basically making it rotate. It takes doing that to understand what's happening almost. But now that I've done it, I think I could do it again without being like, this is weird. I don't really understand what's happening exactly. So, sorry for the color clashy purple on bright orange and blue, but yeah, I could totally wear this. So hopefully I'll have an opportunity to wear it with my dress, and we'll be able to post some pictures of it, because I really do think it will be beautiful together. I don't think I have any pictures of me wearing that dress, so I would put one up, but I just don't have it right now. So that's pretty much all my finished objects for this week. Hooray, hashtag finish it February, even though I way thought I was going to get more done than I did. I'm really glad that this is the one I chose to focus on. I don't have any intention of focusing on the rest of those things now. They may have to wait for next February to get finished, or some other time when I'm just like kind of in between. But, you know, like I worked on a lot of things like a little bit here and there, just because I kind of hit that funk of like finished my Chuck sweater and wasn't really sure what I want to do next. And I think what I'm going to start on is the Nurtured Sweater by Andrea Mowry. I'm not necessarily, a huge Andrea Mowry fan. It just seems that way because of this, and then like that, and that. This is truly the only. I've started a couple of her patterns and kind of frogged them, so we'll see if it goes anywhere. I know she's like, her patterns are great, you know, but like they just haven't found the ones that really worked for me quite yet. So yeah, I'm excited to start the nurtured pattern, and that's another cropped one. That's all my faux, my finished objects. No whips because this has been it. And what else have I got to talk about with you today? I have gotten some yarn in the mail, which is always exciting. The one that you will remember is the one I talked about last episode, which was the Mystery Club from Dragon Horde Yarns. So I got that in the mail. And the colorway is called, I don't know if you remember from last episode, but so this is a Mystery Club that's based on Gravity Falls, which is a really awesome Disney cartoon that is available on Hulu. So if you have Hulu and you enjoy cartoons, go watch it because it's awesome. So I got that, and that was exciting. So this is Mystery Shack. So just to kind of give you a view of it, it's very pretty. So it's very pretty. If it had nothing to do with Gravity Falls, I would think it was gorgeous. Here's the only issue I have. And I think the lesson here, I'll be very upfront about it. I think the lesson here is I probably shouldn't buy mystery things anymore, especially for things that I really, really care about, because I have my own ideas of what I think that should look like. And this was not it. So that's fine. Again, like, the yarn is beautiful. It's very well dyed. It's very interesting. The only thing is, to me, that show, there's so many different colors I would have picked. The show is like set in Oregon, and it's in the woods, and it's this old shack, and there's like a lot of natural colors, and like a giant tourist trap sign that's like yellow and gold, and so I'm a little disappointed that she didn't pick up some of those things. But I think I get it. It's kind of the mystery, the murky mysteryness of color, I guess. So I'm not really sure what I'll do with this. I think this will probably have to hang out for a little bit. But it's the first skein of Dragon Horde yarn that I've gotten, and I've looked at her colors a lot online, so I'm, you know, happy to have something of hers to give a shot. So yeah, so that's Mystery Shack, and you may see it again sometime. We'll see. And then some other things. So again, this was kind of this one was also a little bit of a surprise, and I apologize. Like, I am not dragging on Dragon Horde yarns. Like, her stuff is very pretty. She's a good dyer. It's just a difference in fandom. Imagine if you were like, if that was like you're a Harry Potter super fan and you buy a mystery set or something like that, and then you're like, this is not the way Harry would have it. So just remember that. That's kind of how I feel a little bit. So again, the lesson is not she did something wrong. The lesson is 110% I should probably not buy mystery things anymore, because that's just, I might be disappointed, and that will be hard to live with. So, okay, moving on. The second skein of yarn that I got since the last podcast is actually something that I bought back in September. So, back in September, I don't know if anyone remember, there was a hurricane that came through. Is that bad? Was it Irma? No, I can't remember the name of the hurricane already. Because there have been so many hurricanes. But anyways, so I went to Disney World with my mom for my birthday, and I went basically right before the storm came and left my poor husband here all by himself, and he was really worried our house was going to blow away. So, spoiler, nothing happened. Everything was fine. Our house was fine. Obviously, plenty of people were impacted by the storm. And so one of the, there's a dyer named Maker's Haven. So she is a dyer in North Carolina, I think maybe in Wilmington, somewhere on the coast. So she is very, very much, first and foremost, acquainted with the unfortunate ravages of hurricanes on the east coast of North Carolina. So one of the things that she did was she dyed a skein of yarn called After the Storm. And this was, so this is an example. I can buy a mystery skein because I didn't have any idea and I don't have any attachment. But so she dyed this. It's beautiful. Like, I love it. Like, I'm not really a pastel kind of person, but I am a rainbowy kind of person apparently. And there's just something about this one that, like, I opened it and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. I love it. So the funny thing is that, again, I bought this back in September. It was a pre-order. And, so you don't really know when to expect a pre-order. And end of September, 2 months go by. It's like almost Christmas time. Lots of things were happening. I honestly never thought about it. And then at some point, like, I think about it every now and then and be like, well, maybe it hasn't gone out yet. And it had said it was shipped, but I just was like, whatever, it's fine. And, so fairly recently I emailed or messaged her on Instagram and was like, hey, I don't know if this is, like, I just wanted to check in. Like, I never got this. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it got delivered somewhere else or whatever. Like, if you have one and want to send it to me, fantastic. If you don't and just want to refund me, whatever, that's fine. So she had one or dyed me one and sent it, and it's gorgeous. Like, I love it. Now, I don't know that I would wear this, but it makes me really excited to knit something for someone, like maybe a baby item, like a little dress if I have enough of it. I think this would be super cute. Like, again, I don't like rainbows, so I don't have a problem with it. And again, it's like, it's pastel, but it's got a lot of like purples and some blue. So I feel like this is something that would be good for maybe a baby or a little kid, or maybe socks. So I don't know what to do with it, but I will definitely kind of have an idea. I've got a couple of friends that are having babies, and again, this is not ideally what I would knit for a baby with, just because, I assume it's superwash. Yeah, it's superwash, but again, most people, if they get something like this, they're going to be like, I'll never wash it again. And you're like, no, wash it. Just, like, use it like it's meant to be used. So, yeah, so that was really exciting. And that was one of those, like, a surprise that kind of came, when I wasn't at long, that was a purchase from a way long time ago. And then this is just truly an Instagram fall down moment. So, I bought this skein from Cables and Chroma, who is a indie dyer. It doesn't say where she's from, but this is her. It doesn't say which of her brands this is. But anyways, this is her Sleepyhead colorway. 80% BFL, 20% nylon, 400 yards. If I had to only pick one color scheme to knit with, this would probably be it. Like, it's funny because the blues are not quite it, but I love the combination. Like that rusty orange and then the blues. Like, I was like, yes, this is it. Like, that's, if I couldn't buy a sweater's quantity because that would probably be a little silly, but I had to have at least one skein just to have, because I was like, that's gorgeous and I definitely want to make something out of it. So I'm looking forward to doing something with this sometime. So yeah, I don't know what this one will be. It's going to be kind of one of those treasured, might have to sit somewhere visible so I can have some visual marination on it. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm not really sure what I'm going to work on going forward. I will see if I either start, now that this is done, I feel like I can start the nurture sweater if I want to. I've also really been thinking about knitting the Fern and Feather sweater by Knit Love Wool, I think. I knit another one of her Wintersol sweaters this time last year, and I've got some like beautiful gray and like a yellow to knit that with, and then I've also got some other yarn coming. I haven't bought anything for quite a while, and I just kind of fell down all at once. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure what I'm gonna have to show you next time, but it's been fun catching up and sharing with you about silly things like getting my hair cut and all of that. So if you're new to the podcast and want to know where to find me, you can find me on Instagram as Bittersweet Betty NC, and on Ravelry as Bittersweet Betty. We don't have a group or anything like that. I'm a very low maintenance podcaster. Like, I don't know that I anticipate doing cows or anything like that, but just because I can't keep up with them in my own life, let alone as an administrator of one. But yeah, please feel free to leave a comment below. Like and subscribe to the video so other people can find it. I hope you'll come back, and I'll probably be back in maybe 2 weeks, something like that. So thanks for stopping by and hanging out. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.